Welcome to Agriculture Form 1. You are with me, Andrew Kobe. Today we're going to look at this topic, which is known as food distribution. So for a start, let's look at the introduction on food distribution. So as you know, stability, growth and development of a country depends on how well its population is fed. A country that can afford adequate and balanced food for its population is assured of a healthy and productive labor force. Therefore, food security is therefore key for countries' growth and development. This unit now will explain how food distribution, storage, and family size ensure food security. So let's look at success criteria of this topic. So by the end of this topic, learners or students, they should be able to differentiate food security from food self-sufficiency. They should also be able to explain how proper food distribution ensure food security. They should be able to explain how proper food storage ensure food security. Then they should be able to develop an appreciation on how family size affect food security. So let's look at the meaning of food security and food for self-sufficiency. So when we talk of food security, this means having reliable access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food to maintain a healthy and active life. It involves several key elements. So food security, this is when a country or a family has reliable access, or they are able to find enough food that is sufficient, and also that food should be safe and also nutritious to maintain healthy and active life. So food security, it involves several key elements. So according to World Health Organization, food security have got it has 4 components, and these components are availability, accessibility, adequacy, as well as acceptability. So when talk of availability, it means that food should be provided in sufficient or adequate amount to meet people's needs. So the food which is provided should be sufficient or adequate, should be enough, okay, to meet the people's needs. That's availability. Then talk of accessibility. Accessibility, it means people should have both physical as well as economic means to obtain the food. Okay, so people should have physical as well as economic. On top of economic, you mean money to obtain the food. That's accessibility. Then we've got another component, which is adequacy. On top of adequacy, it means the available food should be nutritious and safe for healthy lifestyle. So the food which is available should be nutritious, not just any other food, but the food should be nutritious. Okay, so this food should be produced in an environmentally sustainable way. Okay, so should be produced in a way whereby it should sustain the environment. Then the last one, we've got acceptability. So the food available should be acceptable culturally, or should be culturally accepted. So those are some of the components of food food security. Then let's look at food for self-sufficiency. So when talk of food for self-sufficiency, this refers to practice of producing enough food to meet one's own needs without relying on external source. So if it is a country, the country should be able to produce enough food without importing from outside. Okay, so this can also be applied to uh, on an individual level, talk of household, community, as well as a nation. So if the a family should be able to produce enough food without buying from external source. So that's food for self-sufficiency. So to achieve self-sufficiency, the following are involved. So self-sufficiency to be achieved, we have to involve these following factors. So we have got home gardening. If you're involved in home gardening, as a family, you are able to achieve uh, self-sufficiency. Then we've got small scale farming. If you are doing small scale farming, you are assured of self-sufficiency as you not be buying from external source, but you'll be depending on the same small scale farming. Then we've got food preservation. There is time whereby you have got excess food, therefore you have to preserve some so that it should be used when the food is scarce. Then we have got skill development. Skill development also, it helps in achieving uh, food for self-sufficiency. Then we have got local food system. Local food system also helps in achieving self-sufficiency. Should be able to use some of the local food, unlike just depending on exotic ones. So these are some of the uh, factors which can help to achieve food for self-sufficiency. So we've talked of food self-sufficiency and food security. So these two sometimes they're so difficult to achieve. Okay, so some of the factors that make these two to be difficult to be achieved are as follows. The first one, I've got crop failure. So due to crop failure, it is not easy to achieve food security as well as food for self-sufficiency. So this crop failure can be due to drought, pest and disease outbreaks, frost, hailstorm, among others. So the other one, I've got internal security. So if the security is compromised in the country, it's not easy to achieve food for self-sufficiency as well as food security. We talk of civil conflicts as well as political insecurity, which lead to reduction in production. So when there is civil conflicts, political insecurity, normally people not concentrate on their farming activity, which will lead to uh, reduced production. Then the other one, we have got lack of economic means, that is inadequate resources such as capital to engage in increased production. So if the people in the country or in the community, they don't have adequate resources to engage in increased production, this one also will lead to will make it difficult to achieve food security as well as food for self sufficiency. Then let's look at proper food distribution and storage. So when talk of proper food distribution, this one is involved the process and system through which food moves from producer to consumer. So we talk of distribution. it's a process, or it's a way, a system whereby food it moves from the producers to the consumers. That's food distribution. So food distribution is very crucial in ensuring uh, food security as well as food self sufficiency. So it plays a crucial role in ensuring that food reaches people efficiently, safe, and in adequate quantities. So, and the same food distribution, we've got key factors in food distribution. So, some of the key factors uh, affecting food distribution are as follows. So, the first one is transport and communication infrastructure. So, to move food, there must be efficient means to facilitate movement. So, these include uh, ad- adequate and good roads, talk of railways, airports, and seaports. Transport also enables food to have price and uh, time utility. I've talked of communication. Good communication infrastructure is necessary in identification of food sources and and delivery areas, as well as informing the population and other vulnerable groups on food collection centers. So if the communication is good, uh, government and other agencies they are able to find food sources as well as where to deliver that food, as well as informing people where to collect the available food. So communication and transport they are very crucial in ensuring food security. Another factor that affect food distribution is food handling technology and regulations such as refrigeration, drying, and storage. So the food must be properly treated to ensure it does not spoil when in store as well as when on transit. So must be um, properly stored. That's why we are talking of drying as well as storage, so that it should not get spoiled. Then the other factor we are talking of adequate source as well as supply logistic information must be available on where there is demand or need and where the food can be sourced. So if I've got this information where you can get the food and where to supply the food, this one also will help in food distribution. Um, there are certain factors, that necessitate food distribution. So when talk of necessitating food distribution, it means that makes the food distribution uh, to be there or food distribution to start. Then these factors we're talking of talk of some areas in the country they experience surplus while others experience a deficit uh, in production. Okay, so this uh, results in seasonal difference. So some areas they've got surplus, they've got enough food, while others they experience deficit. Therefore, food has to move from where there is surplus to uh, where there is deficit. So in such a way, it means there'll be food distribution. Then talk of natural disasters such as flooding, droughts, pests and diseases attack crops and livestock, among others, may also result in destruction of food in the field and stores. So if a certain area uh, has experienced natural disaster, it means there will be low production. So in such a way, food distribution follows. Then the other one we've got occurrence of vulnerable household due to acute poverty. Okay, so families affected and infected with HIV and AIDS need to be supported with food. So those families which are affected as well as infected, they have to be supported with food. So there's need of food distribution, movement of food from one place to another. Then we've got need to cater for special groups that need supplementary feeding. Okay, so the other groups, special groups that requires supplementary feeding. So, for example, these special groups talk of expectant mothers, talk of breastfeeding mothers, and malnourished children. They require supplementary feeding. So all these they call for food distribution. Then talk of school feeding programs. Nowadays the school feeding there is school feeding program. The food has to move from one place to another where it is needed. Then talk of feeding refugees. All these they require food distribution. Hence, food distribution is hence necessary to ensure food security to the whole population. Let's now look at food distribution agents. So there are several agents involved in food distribution. So the first one, we've got the household. So a household as a family, they are involved in producing. They produce food, and after producing, they take that food to the market. It means there's food distribution, movement of food from the producing unit to the market. Then we've got marketing agencies. In talk of marketing agencies, we're including we're talking of producers, talk of wholesalers, talk of middlemen, also known as brokers, as well as retailers. These are marketing agencies. Then cooperatives and various crops or livestock marketing boards, all these constitute a chain involved in buying food either in bags or in small quantities, transport to needy areas, and later sell to people for consumption. They play a major role in distribution of food as private agents. Then we've got government of Malawi and Malawi government agencies. So government of Malawi is involved in transporting food to emergency prone areas as a result of flooding, on top of drought or political instability, among others. So the government of Malawi is also an agent of food distribution. We've got non-government organizations, NGOs. Yeah, there are also food distribution agents. Some of the examples we've got United Nations agencies such as World Food Programs, talk of United Nations High Commission for Refugees. Another example, we've got religious-based organizations such as Catholic Relief Services. All these food distribution agencies. So these groups are involved in food distribution to special groups such as refugees, hunger-stricken people, HIV and AIDS infected and affected people, flood victims, internally displaced persons, among others. So let's now look at proper food, storage and food security. So when talk of proper food storage and food security, food storage is key in ensuring food security. So when store food, it means you are ensuring food security. So food storage ensure that surplus food is stored for future use during times of deficit. The other times whereby there's surplus food, so that food needs to be stored, then should be used in times when the food is scarce. It means you are ensuring food security through storage. So during storage, food must be protected from spoilage. We talk of deterioration of quality or lowering of quality from pests and diseases attack. This will ensure that there is safe food for human consumption. If food is poorly stored, there may be huge losses, as most of it may be destroyed if not fit for human consumption. So if the food is poorly stored, it can get spoiled. Therefore, that food cannot be fit for human consumption, because when talk of food security, the food has to be safe as well as nutritious. So storage is one way of ensuring food security. So to ensure quality is retained, the produce must be harvested at the right stage and processed adequately before storage. So the food must be harvested at the light stage and also be processed. So in such a way, it means you are ensuring the quality. Also, the cereals must be properly dried and also treated against pest attacks. So proper drying also ensures the quality of the food that has been stored. Then talk of the stores must also be built and maintained to required standard, such as maintaining optimal humidity as well as temperature and aeration. All these will ensure that the quality is there, the stored food. So let's now look at family size and the food security. So according to the demographic statistics, Malawi population is approximately 18 million people. So the annual growth rate is 2.8%. The average family size in Malawi is 5 to 8 children. So you can see that we've got big family sizes in our country here in Malawi. So this indicates rapid population growth, which increases food insecurity. If I've got a lot of people, it means we require a lot of food. Therefore, this one also can lead to food insecurity. So the high population endangers food security through environmental degradation as they exert pressure on the scarce production resources. So this means reduced resources for production. So family size and food security. So family can be a consumer, can also be a producer. So as a consumer, large family size require more food consumption. Okay, so it spends most of its resources on food items and less is invested in farming, hence leading to food insecurity. So most of the resources, when the family is big, most of the resources is invested in food items, unlike uh, um, farming. Therefore, this can lead to food insecurity. A large family size has the danger of having insufficient food for its members and may have malnourished children. So a small family size is hence the one which is ideal in ensuring food security, because uh, some of the resources may be invested in farming. Therefore, this will ensure that the country as well as the family is food secure. So the government must ensure sustainable population growth to ensure food security. Thank you so much. So if there is any question, that's our WhatsApp number, as well as that's our email. Thank you so much.